We're Team Pittsburgh, and we're here to talk about procurement. This is a bone needle. It's used to deliver medication to people who've been seriously injured in an accident. It's one of the fastest ways to get life-saving medication to people who really need it. Like all the other things the city of Pittsburgh buys, bone needles come from contracts like this one. And as we know, these contracts expire. And when they do, it's up to the Office of Management and Budget to see that they're rebid, renewed, or extended as is appropriate. And this task falls on two purchasing agents in the city. This spreadsheet is the tool that they use to do this task. Spreadsheets are a flexible and powerful tool, but they're not always the best choice for the job, especially when that job involves managing 450 contracts, 75 of which may be actively going through the process at any given time. On top of that, the spreadsheet is filled with shorthand that's difficult for people who aren't directly responsible for the work to understand and be able to access. And as a result, things can fall through the cracks. For example, the bone needles. The city, one of the only vendors in the city who sourced these bone needles, was not contacted when that contract was up. And as a result, the city couldn't buy bone needles in bulk. And this is something that my colleague Shelley likes to talk about as an example of the human cost of procurement. But why did this happen? To us, it's an example of closed data creating a closed process that leaves people out of the loop. And this has immediate impacts. City staff don't have the tools they need to do their jobs well. Businesses don't have the opportunity to work with the city of Pittsburgh and grow and expand. And ultimately, it's Pittsburghers who pay the price at the end of the day. And we were trying to think, what would a more open model look like? What could open data and open processes do to help improve the situation? How could we open up procurement? And we were really fortunate to have a city partner who was already thinking about ways to open data and open processes.
Thanks, Ben. Hi, I'm Laura. And as Nicole mentioned, I was a 2013 Code for America Fellow. And in addition to developing the criminal justice dashboards that you saw yesterday, our team had a chance to work with Louisville to develop their open data policy. And we really got a chance to think through how they could operate that program in their city. So toward the end of my fellowship, I heard about this guy, Bill Peduto, who was running for mayor of Pittsburgh. He was actually talking about open data and information in his campaign. And when I met him for my interview, he told me he wanted to blow the doors off City Hall. So I really knew that I had somebody that I was excited to work for. So in Pittsburgh, we're really looking forward to, this is going to be a big month for us. We are launching what we're calling our Regional Data Center, which is going to be the official data portal for the city of Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, which we're in. And it's actually going to be housed at the University of Pittsburgh, with the idea of making it flexible, extensible, and inclusive so we can host data coming from any municipality in the region, as well as nonprofits that have data that they want to share, researchers. So we are really excited about that effort because we understand that the more that we have access to the information about how it is that we are currently doing business, we can improve our processes. So an example of how we worked with this team to put that concept into action was that we had a lot of problems understanding what was actually on contract at any given time. We didn't know how many contracts we had, what was covered on those contracts, what other departments might be using them, or when they might expire. So we actually gave the fellows a spreadsheet of the GIF that Ben showed you as a part of their January training. And when they showed up in February, they had a first sample of something that they've been iterating on ever since.
Thanks. We wanted to see what open data and open processes could look like in empowering people with this contract data. And when we put it in front of people and asked them what they needed and what was going on, it became clear that the fact that they didn't have deep access to this information prevented them from doing their best work. And so we wanted to make it easier for them to do that. So we built a tool called Scout. And Scout excites us for a few reasons. Not only is it a simple search interface that makes it easy to see not just the basic contract information, but also to find line items and more detailed information about contracts where we can find it, but to us, what's more exciting is that it allows people to subscribe and get information pushed directly to them. Instead of relying on them to go out and find the information from its closed sources, we instead are pushing it to them and allowing those people who need that information to get it delivered to them. And as we were showing Scout to different people, they were really excited to start using it. And when we rolled out it in its current version, the usage blew our highest hopes out of the water. In their first few days, 20 people signed up to use Scout across 13 departments and followed more than 75 contracts. Thank you. This model, where we deliver information to people who are looking for it, was something that we wanted to explore outside the city as well and see if we could help open up the way that the city communicates with the business community.
On that subject, another problem that we had was communicating our opportunities out to businesses that might potentially bid on them. So we had a specific problem where our Parks and Recreation Department had issued an RFP, I think 4 times, trying to get cleaning services for our recreation centers. And each time they got either no bid or 1 bid from a company that didn't meet their needs. So we knew that we had some problems getting in touch with folks that might be available to do this. So at that time, the only way to actually access that RFP would have been to find it buried deep, deep within pittsburghpa.gov, or it was available on our, we posted it on our newspapers, and in that format, it's also very hard to find, even if you're really looking for it. So what the fellows helped us with is that we actually did a press release, and we tried to let people know that we had this opportunity coming up. And they built this central website where people could come and subscribe for more information. So from this opportunity, which we could not previously get even 1 qualified company to express interest, they got something like 50 people to sign up in just a couple hours to tell us that they were interested. And then from there, we got 16 times more proposals coming from in response to this opportunity. So for us, that means better prices, cleaner rec centers, better outcomes.
We were really excited about what had happened here. Yeah, this is really great. And we wanted to see what would happen if we were to scale that up and do it for every opportunity that the city of Pittsburgh has. So we put together a site called Beacon, and Beacon does exactly that. The problem that Laura was talking about is something that my colleague Patrick likes to think about, which is that at the core of procurement, you really have a communication problem. The city needs goods and services, and the business community provides them, but often those two just pass each other like ships in the night. And Beacon can serve as that connecting force. The city posts opportunities, and it notifies businesses when those opportunities become available. We launched Beacon as part of Mayor Peduto's Roadmap for Inclusive Innovation, and the response from the business community was overwhelming. In the first 3 weeks, 300 businesses have signed up to receive notifications from Beacon about new opportunities to work with the city of Pittsburgh. And to us, what's exciting about this is that, just like Scout, it brings people together into the loop. Instead of segmenting information and forcing people to go out and find it themselves, it opens the data, and it opens the process, and it creates information feedback loops. And everybody benefits. The city gets the tools that it needs, businesses get to grow and expand, and Pittsburghers ultimately receive better service. And what's really great about this is that it's all powered by one central piece of data that the city already had. And that is what we'd like you to think about. Where can you find data that you already have, and where can you make it open and empower processes?
So this year, the fellows have completely revolutionized the way that we do procurement in the city of Pittsburgh. From our communications with businesses on the outside to our communications internally with each other. So we are so excited about the results that we have had from our fellowship team this year. You saw some of those numbers. We have some incredible adoption that's already happening inside and outside of the city on all of these applications, and we're really excited about how they're going to grow in the future. We challenge you to think about this in terms of the way that we did with this central data set. For us, it was incredibly powerful just to open up this one data set. While we understood our stakeholders, we were able to change the whole system. So this fellowship team was just completely fantastic. Shout out to Shelley, shout out to Patrick, and shout out to the Department of Innovation and Performance Watch Party, which is happening right now in the city of Pittsburgh. Hello, everybody. And thank you very much.